It is a best of 5. There's $50 on the line for the winner, $25 for the loser. We're just gonna have some fun StarCraft, kind of the game plan. So to kick things off, spawning here in the upper left-hand side of the map, he's the North American Terran. You should know and like him. It is the red-colored
Future.
Although his in-game name is Social. You'll probably hear me misspeak this as Special at some point during the cast tonight, as it happened last time too. To the bottom right, we have the blue Zerg player coming all the way from Europe. It is the bluely dressed Zerg
BLY.
Now for BLY and Future's sake, just a little context for everybody, we did agree to play this on cross server. It was going to be coin flip for first map, and then after this, loser's pick gets both map and server preference. So if Future goes up 1-0, we'll head over to Europe. If BLY goes up 1-0, we'll stay here on North America. Now, some interesting points to be made about this was BLY doing a lot of all-ins versus BLY doing macro. And what I found really fascinating about that was talking to Future before the games. And basically, Future's pretty confident that if BLY decides to play macro games and not all-in, he's pretty sure he'll win this very easily. For BLY's sake, though, I kind of hope he does do all-ins. BLY's all-ins are some of the grossest and most entertaining ones to watch. Proxy hatcheries, inevitable roaches, what have you. He's also really good at playing straight up, though. And so I don't necessarily agree with the statement Future, or the statement that Future would beat BLY in every macro game, but I think Future's a really good player. And if this does go to macro, I think we're gonna get a lot of fun out of it. But like I said, it's $50 for the winning, $25 for the loser. They both get some money today. Woo! Don't you dare shame BLY. I am not, sir. I love watching BLY's shameless all-ins. They're some of the best parts. With BLY, anytime you're casting a game of BLY, and it starts off with a hatchery in his opponent's natural base, you know you're in for a fun game. No question about it. Watching a little bit of micro with the Lings and Reaper, by the way. This has actually been really well handled out of BLY. Not losing a single Zergling means it'll be a lot easier to protect that first creep tumor, which you're going to see that Reaper poke in for. But if he does, oh, he risks getting killed. So close. Creep tumor dies, point for Social. Excuse me, point for Future. But the Reaper itself almost dies, so might not have been worth it. Oh my god, look at that. Look at that little tease. Little tease. He did that on purpose. He's gonna try and go northwards. BLY predicts this pathing, by the way. Almost catches the Reaper. If those Lings had spread out just a little bit better, prevented the Reaper from going up on the high ground, that would have been sick. Now, this isn't the end of the world. Future, funny enough, still hasn't seen the third base, despite grazing right next to it. I think it's pretty safe to assume there's a third base out of most Zerg, but I feel with BLY it's a bit different. And oh, the Lings do end up catching the Reaper. Okie dokie. That's going to shut down scouting for a bit. This is going to be a little worrisome for Future. You see, he's not scared per se. He's going for Hellion Banshee, but not knowing that BLY isn't doing an all-in, like especially when that's the concern, the BLY's just going to do all-ins. It's unfortunate they didn't get to see that third base setup or the gas timings or anything in the main base at all, really. So a couple Lings with speed managed to sneak by the Hellions that are rallied out. He doesn't quite get to the main base, but he sees Hellions coming out. There's definitely going to have to be more Zerglings made if he wants to stop these. We have a Queen all the way northwards. A couple of Hellions out on their own like this are actually really easy to deal with Zerglings. You can see BLY actually tries to get us around there. A little cute little wrap around. Didn't quite get it though. Oh, and in the interest of accelerating you guys through Stream Raiders today, before the PvP starts, right now, for example, we have the battlefield mostly filled and good to go, but we can't show the battle on stream. So I'll probably start the battle. You guys can't see it, but you'll get your rewards. That way we can get this map done even quicker, maybe squeeze in a few more maps before we start the PvP tonight. I'm really excited for the PvP. Oh, nice move out of BLY, by the way. Notice the drone there quickly grabs, or the SCV, excuse me, grabs it, forces a cancel on the CC, grabs a second SCV. Oh, this is chaos. Normally that third CC in the wall is usually pretty safe. Almost loses a Hellion on top of this. Yikes. And back on the other side of the map, the Banshee does have Cloak finished up. Spore Callers are on the way. BLY's going to lose a couple of drones to this. There's no stopping that, but he should be able to limit this from getting too much and too crazy. However, oh, he slams into the wall once again. And Future is already all the way across the map. Now has to come back home to deal with these Zerglings. I mean, between the Banshees and these Hellions, it should be dealt with. Looks like the Banshee on the other side of the map died without killing that Queen! 3 HP! SCV's pulled off the line. This is so frustrating for Future. He's just constantly just barely out of position. Those Hellions, obviously they can fight this, as you can see, but being across the map, this worked well for BLY because it's not that he did a lot of damage per se. Canceling command center is nice, but not devastating. But stopping and delaying the attack out of special. No, damn it, there it is. Out of Future. And another wall left open, so as BLY runs in, these Hellions have to stay here instead of harassing drones on the other side of the map, which is preferable all the time, always. At some point, it doesn't become worth throwing bodies away like this for BLY, but I think we're still in the category of this is fine. In fact, if this Zergling dies, I think it actually dead-ass evens up the army, the resources lost. Yeah, 1150 to 1150. I didn't know special was playing. Yeah, I know. I called the misspeak really. Oh, nice transfuse. That was stuck as. All right, keeps the queen alive. BLY is playing really well right now, I gotta say. Little remarks here for maybe Future being out of position or sloppy or the scouting. Honestly, none of that really matters because I just feel like BLY's playing really well around him. I think your mic DC a bit. I hear nothing after sick. Wait, can you guys not hear me right now? What? No, I see the audio levels going. What are you talking about? Like, we're like 5 minutes into the stream. I'm already prepared to have broken things, of course. But look, I wish I could pause the game and highlight this. Look at the supply real quick, guys. 70 drones for BLY. Absolutely insane. He's macroing like a god right now. He's gonna have money for days, but he's in a really big weak spot. His army supply is pretty much non-existent. Zerglings are on the way, couple of banelings on the field, but Future's on 48 army supply and pushing with siege tanks. BLY doesn't have roaches, ravagers, or mutalisks, or anything to really easily deal with these. He will happen to catch this, though. That run by also gets caught in turn, but gives him some valuable scouting information about this push coming. This base here might be better off dead. I don't think he has the means to defense it. What am I like? Make base defensive, but I don't think he has the means to defend it. So canceling it makes the most sense. Running on creeps can help the banelings a ton, but of course there's that siege tank in the back line. BLY's got to be a little bit worried about. I think he is, but he's gonna bulk up. He's getting mutalisks soon. We have some banelings. Oh, slipping by. Oh, Rudy Duty, shooty. Not a bad trade, actually, grabbing the Hellions like that. Marines on the high ground are gonna be well protected by the tanks on the low ground. This is a nice move. He's going to surround them, force a pickup. Stop the attack better because if he moves too close to the ledge, boom, tanks have got him covered. This creates an awkward situation, though, because the tanks are also consequently uncovered. BLY could run down there with the lings and probably pick him off the next time Future pushes into the creep. I think Future realizes that he's been scouted like that and decides to withdraw entirely off the main. And I think that's a really smart choice on his part. BLY continues to expand creep down the middle of the map as well. And that earlier gap of supply has been bridged pretty heavily. Now, like, the difference of 48 to 71 is still large, but at least now he has more banelings to work with than he had before. The doors are down to the front. Not sure why. Siege tank in a vulnerable position. Most of the Marines go down. Siege tank gonna follow suit. Blam! I don't think this is dangerous to lose a lot of SCVs, but Future on the retaliation on the other side of the map pushes in. BLY's ready, though. BLY's always at the ready. Siege tanks were unsieged, getting sieged up. Most of the Zerglings are in the dead zone now. It's already a little too late. Siege tanks here are going to get crushed. Zerglings will clean up the Marines. Oh my god. BLY on the other side of the map and at home with the defense. Future's playing really well. I'm putting a lot of hype and emphasis on BLY right now. I should be fair. Future's kind of kicking some butt too, but damn, BLY is playing like actually on fire. Also, small side note, I've started another Stream Raiders battle if you guys want to hop into it. So that's been locked, loaded, and set up, even though it's not on stream. 13 mutas are on the way. This is something he's going to need quite a bit of help with. 13 mutas are going to deal with the medevacs that keep barely escaping. They'll help catch the drops a little bit more easily, but this also now puts a lot more emphasis on protecting the siege tanks, man. There's so many Marines in play, but if they're busy chasing lings off to the side, the mutas are just going to snipe off all the tanks. You can also see BLY's continue. I love the map presence, honestly. You got mutas to the top, you got lings to the bottom. Future's aware that this is going to be a problem with banelings going forward. Goes for the widow mines. I love the drilling claws too. Hopefully he just gets all this out in time because a lot of chaos about to hit his main base. Oof. No missile turrets. A little bit rough to see. A lot of SCVs are going to die here. If BLY's not careful, he'll lose a lot of mutalisks too. Future on top of this, responding with Marines pretty quickly. Other bases seem to be okay for now, but we do have a baneling bust. That Widowmine got a shot off of the mutas. The banelings do. Oh, that's so awkward. Oh! 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 no! Okay, well, if that's not the end of the game, it's going to be in about 5 or 10 minutes. BLY just eradicated the defenses, slaughtered the siege tanks, and that's the GG right there. Good game. But okay, folks, it's game number 2. After talking a confident late game, it turns out he does not crush BLY if it comes to macro. Spawning here in the top left side of the map, we have the red Terran. It's
Future.
And in the bottom right, the blue Zerg from Ukraine. It's
BLY.
Small little update about anyone for the 2v2 stuff, by the way. I'm just going to mention this because I worked on this all morning. Most of the 2v2 tournament stuff is ready to pay out. We're just waiting on a few people. And funny enough, this is what I love about this. All of the amateurs and unknown players, and probably, like, you know, the lower league players who played and qualified for prize money, they all signed up and did the match arena page correctly. The people we are missing are Special, Juggernaut Jason, Hero Marine, Rotterdam. Like, the people who are regular players you would expect to have signed up for the prize money are the ones we're currently missing. So just a little funny PSA that we're almost ready to go. We're just waiting for those guys to sign up so we can pay everybody out. But yeah, this the 2v2 tournament concluded this previous Saturday. It was a lot of fun. I've actually started talking to somebody about being a YouTube editor. So hopefully these VODs that I am super far behind on uploading will get up there sooner than later. He's already cut up most of the 2v2 stuff, so that should be on YouTube ASAP. But if anyone is antsy and you don't want to wait, obviously you can check out those VODs here on Twitch for free. That was a fun 2v2 is very fun. Good job, pros. Way to set an example. No, I think it's just the complacency is a little understandable. So for example, if you're somebody who needs prize money because you've never won prize money, right? You know, you're Joe Schmo, this is the first $10 you've ever won ever. That means a lot. But if you're somebody who's like Hero Marine and won plenty of cash over time, you're probably like, $10, I'll get it to it when I get to it. You know what I mean? I don't think I was trying to set a bad example. It's just funny watching, I guess, the complacency of it. Anyways, Zerglings hop on over here to the top left. There's no wall. This Marine should get crushed. That SCV dies too. Small amounts of early legs are way better over here than back at home is what you'd think, but then this Reaper comes in uncontested, so we'll see if it gets damage done. Being at home would have stopped this from being so much chaos, and this it's like a very light cheese. Like, this is like a little Parmesan on your spaghetti, you know? You kind of expect it, it's nothing too bad, but oh man, this is turning out to be a lot tastier for BLY than I think you expected. 5 SCVs died to this. The command center still stalled out and has not been started yet, by the way, favoring finishing the bunker first. Oh no, this is a bad start for Future in game 2, I'll tell you that much. BLY's in a good way right now, coming up on this with 29 drones to 19 SCVs. I like Future a lot, guys, but my oh me oh my, this is a rough start for any Terran player to come back and bounce back from. However, we should note that while Future might be in a pretty awkward situation in terms of the economy, he's also a player who does have a few very strong 2-base all-ins. So maybe that'll be the course of action now. Maybe he came into this hoping to macro, but was now forced to do some kind of all-in. And I don't think that's a bad situation, actually. There are some players who I feel are really good and powerful with all-in timings. They just tend to not prefer it. And whether that's the case or not for Future, I guess we'll see. Because BLY, with those extra workers, with all this extra money, should theoretically have a really good defense. But one thing I want to point out last game was we did see this really greedy spot where he was on like 70 workers and had 14 army supply or something. Just something totally risky and unplayable in most situations. But with BLY, I guess he'll be okay. As long as he doesn't get too greedy and doesn't overdrone too much, he'll maintain his lead and hopefully keep a good army supply. Otherwise, if he's slow to get Banelings, which by the way, I don't think he went for Bailing Nest this game, suddenly these Hellions are a lot more volatile. Sure, you might get the layer up faster and a few Mutalisks or a Nidus Worm, but if he loses all the drones in the process, who cares? 5 Hellions can certainly do just that. The Queens, this is a bit of a funny bluff at the front too for the defense. Social, aka Future, never got up here to see what's going on with these Hellions, so he sees 2 Queens and it looks normal. He just has no idea there's almost nothing behind them. Probably waiting for the Banshee, if anything, to really push in. She is rallied around the map. She's gonna get caught by BLY's Overlord, though, poised over the 3rd base. BLY already had Nidostorm, excuse me, Spore Crawlers on the way, but he does have a Nidostorm coming now too. I think this is what Future was a little worried about when he was talking about BLY probably doing some all-ins for this. It's not going to be siege tanks, but with Marines in position, at least he'll be able to see it coming. One of the worst parts about a Nidostorm is just being out of position, not knowing where it went down. And if you get pulled out of the way, you know, then BLY sneaks back into your main base. We've seen these underhanded tactics out of BLY many, many times before. And by the way, I did question about possibly doing a 3-base all-in. Excuse me, 2-base all-in, but we have actually a 3rd command center on the way. The brain is getting a little too far ahead of itself today. But yeah, 3 CCs means it's not going to be some super duper all-in out of Future. Maybe he really does want to take this to macro. I know I kind of threw a bit of shade there after the first game, but if he really truly believes that he can just out macro BLY in every game, then this is a perfectly fine way to play. Thankfully, Terran is OP in this patch. There's no whammies. You know what? I've been hearing that a lot recently. And I didn't really buy much into it until I saw the GSL qualifier results. I think, if I'm not mistaken, 1 Zerg player made it through, which shocks me. Oh, Banshee over here, right side coming in. It's clean position. Spore Crawler provides the detection necessary as well, so minimal damage done. I don't know if he saw the roaches just now. That would be a really nice tell. But back at home, I don't think it would change tactics, right? We already have siege tanks on the way. We already have Marines coming out. I think having the roaches in play versus not having roaches in play isn't going to change much on how Future plays this out. I think the only change would be if it was Lings, he might favor Widow Mines, because those will help with the mutas too. But if it's going to be roaches, Ravagers in massive quantities, TLO styles like we've seen recently, then tanks and Marines, and maybe the addition of Marauders, but definitely tanks and Marines will get the job done. Why do I get the feeling BLY is going to pull something uber sneaky this match? Well, he did cancel the Nidostorm and abandon ship on that. So it is maybe not cheeky sneaky, but it's going to be brutal and rough. Now, despite the earlier worker disadvantage, over time, Future's done a really good job of bridging that gap. 3rd CC fast really helped with this. The extra mule floating around is going to do him wonders. And his worker count's almost back to normal. But we are going to see an explosion rate here for BLY's army supply. It's going to get really high really quickly, kind of like Rifkin. But it's not necessarily going to be a better type of supply. Ravagers are going to trade out for the siege tanks pretty well. It's just a question of whether the bio and the tanks can deal with the majority of the roaches. Now with that creep spread, he sees that push coming before it actually gets to him. So a couple of preemptive corrosive biles don't hit much, sadly. Future really wants to put some pressure over here towards the 3rd base. The tanks are super out of position though, so it's a bit awkward. Left side looks like a couple of Lings got in. Only 2 workers died though. That's pretty quickly handled. And this drop has not been stopped. BLY sitting here on a bit of a supply block actually, with these scouting overlords getting picked off. And now we have a roach push over to the left. I'm liking Future's position a lot better now for sure than I was a few minutes ago. BLY's getting some banlings, which I think is going to be absolutely necessary. Oh, that tank hopefully gets scooped up because it is super dead. Oh, he goes for the boost, just barely doesn't get it. Does set up the wall though. Banshee will clean all these up in time, but that's going to take quite a bit of time. This push not being brought home, this push not pushing forward, just means Future's going to lose some SCVs, and that's going to suck. Because it's going to be for pretty much nothing too, but this will get cleaned up. BLY's roaches though, for him not too painful to lose. Corrosive biles go on top of the bio. Oh, corrosive bio, am I right? Tries to focus on the hatchery, but realizing there's not that many roaches to guard the Ravagers, decides to pounce on them. Ravagers are exceptionally squishy as they don't have that armor, but I think the hatchery and getting out of here should be more than satisfactory. He's already pulled the tanks away, loses a lot of Marines, but killing that base doesn't hurt BLY as much as it might normally, because he's already started this base. More than halfway done. So this is a setback, but not devastating. Good pick off for Future, nonetheless. God damn it, I hate when player names don't match their names. If I refer to them as social all match, nobody's gonna know who I'm talking about. One of the tanks almost goes down here. I think there's a little bit of freedom for the Banshee to chase into the Ravagers if she wants, but other than that, BLY of course has that Baneling nest finished up. He's got speed, so now he can finally get some Banelings to assist this army. Roaches and Ravagers will trade out okay-ish, but Banelings will allow him to win fights. The attempt to cross about the Banshee is always a vigilant one, but rarely does it actually hit much. You know, another great use of the Banshee as well, sitting in the front line away from the Queens, could pick up some creep tumors. That's exactly what he's thinking here. that the live one? No, that wasn't the live one. It's the live one. All right, pushing up a bit too close. Looks like the Banshee will get plucked out of the sky, but there's a lot of siege tanks set up for this fight. I'm liking this position for future as well, because there's 2 high ground ramps BLY is going to have to go up. And while he does have an overseer, that's not going to guarantee him high ground vision. So running into these tanks is going to be a lot easier said than done. But future, thank God for this siege tank on the ramp. Otherwise, wouldn't have had the high ground to see those lings coming. He loses one of the siege tanks. But also pulls the Marines out of position. BLY not able to capitalize on this distraction, however. Bunch of Zerglings flooding the field now. BLY is really just trying to get army units out. More Banelings on the way too. Armor's been completed here to +2, which is going to be nice. It's going to help get into the fight a little bit easier, but tanks are still going to pop off Banelings any opportunity they get, regardless of upgrades. Oh, well, not sieged up, now stuck in by his own siege tanks, but he holds his ground. Eats the corrosive bomb and pushes right back into it. Back on the other side of the map. I didn't get to catch it, but 19 SCVs just died. Future now has to commit to this. It's no longer about trading okay with the roaches. He's got to get some payback. He doesn't even stabilize at home. Focus fire on the Banelings was sick, but does that leave him with enough Marines? The answer's no, and BLY takes game number 2. Spawning here to the top right side of the map. He's going for broke. A little bit desperate here for the final match. We have the Red Terran
Future.
And his one to the bottom left will be the Blue Zerg. None other than, of course,
BLY.
Also, I'm not sure what's going on. Does the blue look a little bit more blue than blue normally does? Or am I just stoned without knowing it right now? I woke up to cast this. I haven't had time to be a delinquent yet. But I can't stop noticing this blue looks very blue. The more I say that, though, the more I am less confident in my sober statement. Anyways, battle over here continues to rage on. Streamer's battle is looking like a surefire win. Good job, guys. Killed the trolls. Percy Tiger, hell yeah. But okay, back to the game. Well, how's this going to look? BLY's not going to scout this right away. And I think a gamble would say that you wouldn't typically expect somebody to do this on their last life of the Showmatch. But I actually like it. It's very risky, but if it pulls off and works, then it gets them right back into it. I just realized, oh, we're hosting without game heart. Whoops. Okay, anyways, it's not Reapers, it's Marines. I saw the gas taking at home. I naturally assumed it was going to be Reapers. Looks like this is going to be possibly a not super committed attack leading into a factory back at home. I'm saying with a question mark because it's not Reapers. He sees the Lings leave the base. Those two see 2 SCVs, though. That's a sick block at the top of the ramp. But even with a block like this, BLY's got the surface area. But the cancel mechanics on this are only costing him 25 minerals per build, per cancel. And now with 2 Marines out here, there's a little bit of risk to that SCV getting plucked off. He's gonna have to do some micro to dance through it, but he focuses on the bunker itself. Gets the actual kill this time. 100 minerals down here for future, but still, as long as this bunker goes up, this is a really nice position to be in for him. You see BLY's already started spine crawlers at the top of the ramp, but you'll hear a lot of Zerg players talk about this. Spine crawlers are more necessary for a 3 racks all in, not necessarily a 2 racks all in. And because future maybe isn't all in with this, like not super committed per se, because he's got that factory back at home. He's doing some nice micro tricks too. BLY may be, in fact, overreacting with these 2 spine crawlers. They're finished up, and they're going to clear this out. There's no question about that. And they'll save the hatchery too by the looks of things. Oh, that focus fire on that 1 spine crawler is nice. Remember, these spine crawlers have bonus armor, though, so these Marines that hit very fast but hit very low aren't getting all the big damage in that they want to. Whoa! That corpse went flying! Bunker here gonna get canceled. He might try and dance out of this. We've seen some players do this before. I always love watching people dance out of the bunker for the spine crawlers, but runs the SCV through a little too late, doesn't get there to repair the bunker. This Rax attack is probably over. However, I have to imagine Future's kind of content with the results of this. This forced 2 spine crawlers into a pretty big overreaction. Money-wise, it trades out kind of even, and back at home, he's not that susceptible to a counterattack due to map spawn location. To be very clear, if he tried to push out this reactor while spawning down here, he might actually die to these Lings. But because the reactor is not the weak part of the wall, he can repair this all day. Until the Baneling nest comes out and busts through, but that's a whole nother... So for future, it's a minimal commitment to defense, but it's going to be a defense nonetheless. We're going to see a scout out of this barracks too, acting kind of like an overlord. Oh, excuse me. Pickup time. As long as Future doesn't get lazy about repairing, because that can sometimes be a problem. He's got a command center up on the high ground, so he's not going to fall behind too much economically. Keep in mind, BLY, between the spine crawlers built, you know, it's 200 minerals each, plus the 2 drones. Shot himself in the foot a little bit in terms of this overreaction. And with these Hellions spawning, this should be an easy hold. So even if the Banelings come out, it takes about 5 or 6 to break a wall. It takes literally 5 to kill a depot, but usually you lose 1 on the way in, right? So that's why they always say 6. But it'll take 5 or 6 Banelings to break the wall. As long as there's enough Hellions to deal with the Zerglings that follow suit, then it won't matter if that wall breaks. BLY right now, I don't think has enough. Oh, unless, oh no. I really like the attempt out of this. But if all the Hellions are across the map, that Baneling bus comes in and he's not prepared back at home. In fact, right now, what he should be doing is dragging dropping outside the front of his base. Trying to pick off these Banelings. Oh, Future, no! Too greedy! Too greedy! Now he comes back and the wall's been broken. There's enough Lings getting in here that this is a real problem. SCVs have to be careful. That Baneling goes off. It's going to bring the SCVs down to 1-shot range for the Lings. Nice focus fire here with the Hellions. He does clean this up, but oh my god. That moment of panic when he was flying out of the base with the medevac. I don't know what he's thinking right now, but he's definitely like, oh shit. So with this being resolved, he's a little supply blocked, and that's going to be super duper annoying, but he does have the means to get across the field and harass with the Hellions. Make no mistake, Future has the upper hand in this game right now. Whether that stays that way or not, that's up to the players. You said blue 4 times. I don't know. I mean, come on, tell me, doesn't that look more blue than blue though? Like, normally the blue color is not this blue. Oh, I know I sound so stupid saying this. I can hear it. But you guys got to know what I'm talking about here, right? I was going to swap up for the slightly more health Hellion. I'm not sure what the plan for the medevac here is. He just dives in though. Oh my god, the Queens are out of position. Oh, because the medevac baited him into going to the main, thinking there'd be a drop. Grabs some more of those workers. 7 fry to this. It's Friday, my dudes. It's not. It's Wednesday, my dudes. Okay, well, there's a Banshee follow-up to this too. Future, I like it. I like his position a lot. The barracks over here, by the way, I thought it would just be scouting and die. It's how we do it so many times. Nope. Future blocked out the third base, forcing BLY to take this more forward third base. Now, this isn't indefensible by any means. Usually, Zerg players take this base quite frequently, actually, but I don't know that he wanted to take that one. So, continuing to just maintain some dominance, Future now sets up for a third CC in his base. I mean, there's a little bit of a risk with the armory in the wall, but I'm not going to knock it too much. I don't know whether this is going to be mech or not. I'm assuming with the fast 3 armory, it is. Especially with all the Hellions he has on the field. But if it's going back to bio, then the armory being part of the wall is not that big of a deal. It's not that scary. It's Weeds Day, my dude. Yeah, hey, y'all realize this is the whole month is 420, right? April 2020, baby. Oh, Stoner Culture. Something bong ribs. Ugh. Don't worry, fellow youth. I also smoke. All right, this gets a lot more kills. Worker kill count now up to 23, leaving BLY with 35. At a glance, that's even worker count, right? Rifkin, it's not that big of a deal. No, watch some StarCraft. This is huge. Zerg player is supposed to be way ahead of Terran. Not only is social, oh, god damn it. Not only is Future way ahead in our economics, third base especially, he's ahead in army supply. Now, BLY's going for a bit of a desperate gambit with this Nidus Swarm. I actually applaud this move. Oh, and anti-applaud the complacency of the medevac. I applaud the move because it's probably his only real option to get back into this. I don't think BLY gets to macro this game. He's just taking too much worker damage in the early game. Oh, I love the split of Hellbats and Hellions. Oh, that's so sexy to see. I talk about this all the time, but he does end up just transforming them all, realizing the base has been abandoned. This will just kill it that much faster, that much sooner. Nidus Worm to the main has been revealed. I don't know that there's enough damage to stop the Nidus Worm. The Hellions may need to come home, but at the same time, if BLY commits to this, he's not going to get it. If BLY commits to this and takes units across the field, then what stops the Hellbats? Absolutely nothing. See the Roach is trying to kite around a little bit. The Banshee was used a little bit easy. Could have done that a little bit better. Loses that out there. It's kind of like I'm about to lose my mind to this 814 host from Zombie Grub. Zombie Grub, what the fuck were you doing that you killed it, girl? 800 viewers? Hell yeah. Thank you very much for the host. You got your just in time though to see BLY doing BLY things. Up 2-0 in the series in a very desperate last minute play to kill Future. Future's back door was left open, and unfortunately the Queens get up. So you see a lot of transfuses going to that Nidus Worm. Second Nidus Worm comes up the boot. God knows you should always have a backup Nidus Worm. But the Hellions are almost back home, and while the SCV count here has fallen pretty well, significantly, I'd say it's even at the worker kills. Future still has that third CC, and it's not just a CC, it's an orbital. 3 mules to make up this damage? No problem. Oh god, Hellion damage is so bad. He's realizing this still makes him in a hellbent. He's going to be able to hold a good chunk of his production line here with the siege tanks, although this siege tank is blocked out by that siege tank, so it's a little bit awkward, but ultimately this should manage to hold itself. Now, here's the big question. Troops, did BLY do enough damage? God, I sound like this is Dora the Explorer. Hey guys, did BLY do enough damage? Awkwardly waits for your reply. Yes, he did. BLY did enough damage to get him back into the game, I'd say. I don't think BLY's ahead. I think BLY's actually still in a pretty rough spot, but it's certainly safe to say the damage he did was appropriate and that Future is not as comfortable as he was prior to those Nidus worms. Base Street TV, collect words on stream captains. Yes, sir. And I can also start up another new battle. Sorry about that. Whoops. But hey, quick question for everybody coming from Zombie stream. This is really, or Zombie Grub stream. This is really important. We'll get BLY's name on the overlay. Is that blue more blue than normal? Because my stream is making me feel like a crazy person, and I feel like this blue is more blue than blue is normally blue. And the fact that I've said blue 4 times in a sentence makes me upset. Can you find the Nidus worm? I wish I spoke any Spanish so I could really sell this bit, but all right. I love the siege tank positioning. He's got this sick setup here. No, there's no spot BLY can sneak a Nidus worm into the base. At this point, any Nidus worms are just a waste of money. Maybe he can put one outside the base and force Future out of position, but that seems unlikely at this point. Future's army supplies on 59. He's got 1-1 already finished up. And funny enough, the Hellions from early game that are normally dead by now, because this is bio, this isn't mech, right? Normally these Hellions are long dead. He's still got use out of these. Killing a creep tumor and killing the queen in the middle of the map doesn't seem super great, but it shuts down map control out of BLY, which he already desperately needs. Hi, I feel like I haven't been here in a while. What's up, Vindicta? Good to see you, bud. You still nuking kids? Ooh. Ooh. Looking for a couple of drone kills. Not a lot to grab here with one Hellion, sadly, but you know, resources lost wise, it's not too different between the two of them. It's just more there's no income graph right now because we didn't use game heart. The difference between them is not that bad, is what I was going to try and point out right now. So even though there is a very distinct worker difference between the two, mules are helping get the job done. If all of what happened and Future did not have a third CC, he would be in a lot rougher shape. But the fact that he had that third CC already ready up, it was gathering energy, so that was the mules he could drop to make up for all this damage. It's left him in this game in a pretty comfy spot, all things considered, and I really like his position for it. The funny thing is, though, and I'm going to bring this up because I know a lot of Zombie Grubs viewers weren't here at the start. We talked about how, before this started, Future was confident in saying that if BLY played macro, Future would destroy him, right? Future would smash the macro game, so I thought BLY would do a bunch of all-ins for this series. Ironically enough, the first 2 games here were macro games, and that led to BLY having a 2-0 score. So in the third game now, where Social started this off, god damn it, where Future started this off with a 2-Rax proxy, has led him to have a really good macro game. I just don't think any of these went according to his plans or his expectations, which for me makes this all the better, because I love watching expectations get disrupted in StarCraft. When you see the underdog win or somebody who you thought was going to lose win, it's always a little bit more exciting, I think. Unless you have money on the line for it, in which case stop being a degenerate gambler and spend your money wisely. Hey Polk, good to see you. Okay, what's the Baneling count out? 9 is not that much. He's got another 12 on the way, but I think there's just so many Marauders and tanks. The Banelings actually aren't that much of a problem. I mean, the Marauders are just going to be this flesh wall. That sounds so gross, but they're going to be this wall of units just to sit on the front line and soak the Baneling shots. And if the Marauders don't soak the Banelings, then it's all the more freedom for the Marines to walk around them. I think there's a little problem here where BLY does have a really good amount of units though, and if a big if Future is complacent with those tanks, this could be an issue. Like right now, if they were to be unsieged, he could be in trouble, but I think he's okay for now. Meanwhile, back at home, tries to sneak in another Nidus worm, but tank was left here with a Marauder. I think he was fully expecting this, to be honest. My god, that Ravager count is huge though. 12 Ravagers, 21 Banelings. He's got a lot of splash damage in his army. There's no question about that. But what he is lacking is creep. In the middle of the map. Oh, catching 1 or 2 of these siege tanks would be really nice for BLY. Grabs the one, grabs the other. Oh, no, Wasp pass. It's still too close now. He realizes it's way too close to the army. Corrosive Biles tried to poke up over here and snipe off the siege tanks. 3 shots to kill 1 siege tank. A little bit difficult to pull off. Continuing to encroach in here. BLY does have an attack on the right side setup. He catches some of the reinforcement, but there's a huge amount of Banelings finishing up. And these Banelings might swipe on through. Kill this huge cluster of reinforcing units. Oh, it's most awkwardly done, though, because they wrap around into the Marauders. Oh, that couldn't have been intentional. Siege tanks continue to fall over here, but most of the Banelings have been stripped away, so there's no way for the bio to engage. There's like a bit of a bluff going on right now, actually. I think if Future realized it was only Ravagers, he'd just stem across the map and do a bit of an F2 trick here, but a little bit scared, played it back, played it safe. BLY walks forward, his Corrosive Biles, and his hubris cost him dearly as concussive shells slowed down so many of those Ravagers. So many of these units got picked. Down to 27 army supply, no hopes for BLY. 5 units remain. They can actually fight back. More are on the way, but it's Zerglings. It's nothing too special. And I think Future's finally brought himself back into the series. Starts off down, falls back to his last life, and then bounces back with 1 point on the board. Okay, folks, it's game number 4. It's a best of 5. If you're just joining us, the score is 2-1 favoring our European Zerg player in the bottom right. He is, of course, the redly colored Raise Your Edge gaming player,
BLY.
and his opponent to the bottom left, the blue Terran, the North American, it's
Future.
Also 47 is just dropping off some Banelings, possibly for BLY, maybe for Future. 1,000 bitty bits to say have a good April. No fooling. April Fools is officially canceled. Today is March 32nd, my dudes. Why not for both, right? Banelings for one and the other. Now, I've said Golden Wall is one of my favorite maps. Community, yes. Shout out to Datester. He's cool. Golden Wall is one of my favorite maps because I think it's got the most potential for really awesome gameplay. Not every game on Golden Wall will be awesome, but I think some of the most awesome games will be on Golden Wall. This was evident really early on when I think it was like was it Clement Rayner or something in one of the ESL finals. We just got to see this like yin yang of the map. One player taking the bottom. Maybe it was Euthermal. One person taking the bottom. Yeah, I think it was Rayner Euthermal. One player taking the bottom of the map while the other took the top, and it's not always going to expand like that, but it's really cool that that's an option. The name Golden Wall comes also in part from the gold mineral patches that are part of the wall, something I thought BLY would take advantage of because it's a very BLY thing to do, but no, he's taking his natural base and he's actually sending the Lings around a really long rally to try and cause that chaos that we saw in game 2. Repeat that here against Future, whose Reaper will sadly be very out of position. He does have a Marine follow-up to this, but the wall is open and that SCV building the command center is probably good as dead. Ugh, not gonna feel good, man. Not really a lot he can do about this. The SCV kind of has to be sacrificed. No, he goes to save it, but in turn lets the Lings in. That might cost him more SCVs in the long haul. But the upside is maybe this cleans everything up. That one SCV on mine and thinks, oh god, thank goodness I'm safe. You saved me. I can't. Oh! This is going to be super obnoxious and very annoying to clean up, but it does trap the Lings in with the depot raise, so these will get cleaned up. I hope that when we actually eventually encounter aliens, that they are not this good and this frustrating to deal with. Can you imagine? No, thank you. Got a real Starship Trooper situation on our hands. You see the Marine trying to chase the Ling. There we go. Final killing blow. I wasn't watching over here. I don't even know what the Reaper got to scout. Looks like he poked up to the natural and was pushed off by the Queen. Obviously, Future was paying probably little to no attention to the Reaper as the emphasis was dealing with that Ling contamination problem. But despite the setbacks it caused, it did not kill 5 workers this game. That's a really big thing to start with. And he got the command center finished up in pretty good time. So for Future, this is not nearly as bad as we've already seen it be in the series. And for BLY, maybe a bit of a risky gambit. Whether it hurts them or not, I guess we'll figure it out. It says layers finishing up very quickly. He's starting to take additional gases, but only the one, so this doesn't smell like Mutalisks. Although I think there's a lot of abuse potential for mutas on this map. Just, what is that even? Is that a spine? Is that the head? What organ is that on the ground? The bottom part of the head with the spine poking up, maybe. Oh, it is gonna be a Spire. Okay, I was a little okay. Thinking the other gases now. I was like, there's no way he's doing Spire off of 2 gases, but with 3 and 4, this is a lot more viable. The reason I like the idea for mutas on this map is you do have a lot of these positions with the mineral patches you can safely fall back to. There's a lot of space in the main to work around as well. So I think there's a chance Future gets caught off guard by this, but let's also be very clear, because BLY's doing this, he has almost no defenses in place to deal with a push like this. And the fact that it's Hellbats and not just Hellions means this could probably, if not possibly, be the end of the game for BLY. I like the Lynx coming around the backside, but the pickup of the Medevac keeps him solid. Medevac also kept in the back, so the Queens can't pick it off and heals up these Hellbats. Oh, yikes. A small amount of Marines with this too is the DPS he needs to kill the Queens, which you normally wouldn't have. The Marines have to be kept safe to kind of spread out a little bit rough. He's chasing this one Queen to the backside, but it does gain positioning now in the mineral lines, limiting the surface area Lynx even have to get on top of these units. More Hellions being forced across the map. BLY's pulling back away from the base. Not something he wants to do, but something he has to do. The Queens are being chased down and corralled. The new Lynx that are coming out will not be able to match these Hellbats. I think Future's already done it. BLY kept a lot of the drones alive for sure, but I mean, even if these mutas spawn, I kind of feel like the economic damage of losing the mining time here has already been devastating enough. The juggle of the Medevacs, though, is so sick. These Hellbats are like 3, 27, 11 HP, 5. How many kills does before in the front line? 7 kills, 14 kills on that one. Oh my God. Future just managed to pull off Warp Prism Micro without a Warp Prism. Almost one of the mutas goes down too. He's chasing the drones, so he's not focusing on the muta. But I kind of feel like he can just finish off the muta, but now it's regen a lot, so he can't do that anymore. Drones stack up, 9 workers dead. BLY in a tough spot. Let's be honest, guys. Recovery out of this is gonna be rough. Even if the mutas go across the field, there's a Thor in production. There's Marines on the way. The Banshee arrives. Cloak it up. There's no detection. Oh no! Losing more precious mining time is absolutely devastating for BLY at this stage of the game. The drones are just in full retreat. Maybe he's pulling the boys at this point. It's like, screw it, let's go. Overseer finishes up. Banshee dies, but not before she picks off almost 8 workers. She gets the 8th one on death from beyond the grave. Oh, man. Yeah, Thor's out. Missile turrets are out, too. Sun's out, guns out, boys. I think Future's looking just pretty in this game. You know, earlier on Reddit today, I watched a video where a bear was scratching the back of the fence, and he was holding this like elastic rope to hold the fence against his back, and then it snapped and whiplashed him in the nutsack. And you're like, damn, even bears feel that pain. That's kind of how I feel about BLY right now. Yeah, there's a missile turret here. There's 2 missile turrets. I love this one. This one covers the stim pack. That's huge. The Banshee doesn't have a lot of wiggle room to kill drones. He'll have to micro it a lot, which is probably not something he wants to do right now with the mutas. Yeah, so the Banshee's not going to do like... Not going to be able to hold position and kill 15 drones, but still gets a lot done here. Meanwhile, I'm going to start our Stream Raider battle, since it looks like we're going to kick some ass. So let's... I'll get you guys the rewards here ASAP. Good luck on the actual battlefield, folks. I'm pretty confident you're going to kill it. Double CCs. Move one of them over here very soon. In fact, I love that he's taking the time to build the missile turrets first. There we go. Now the 3rd CC heads over. Daedalus 05 says BLY redefines the fantasy GG timing. Okay, look, I have such a jaded opinion of this, and it's only because I've covered so many BLY games, right? Absolutely agree with you in terms of BLY stays in games longer than he should on matches he's probably lost, right? 100% agree with you. However, of those games that he should have lost, like 20% of them, like a fairly high number, not crazy high, but like a high enough number goes, well, you know what? He's actually managed to make these impossible situations work. So as a commentator, but more even as a fan, I'm like, okay, yeah, let's see what he can do. What magic horseshoe does he have up his ass? Can he pull it out and throw it at Future, I guess? I don't know. He's done it before. He's doing like really good moves here with the mutas. It's minimal commitment. The healing out damages the damage from the Marines, but I mean, ultimately it's going to be +1 Marines. Stim finished up. Huge push with 2 Thors. BLY's dead. He's super dead. But let's see if Future can throw the game, I think is how we define this. Oh God, the mutas can't even outrun Thors because of the medevacs. Battle rewards. Damn it. It's not even finished battling yet, jerk off. Okay, now it's done. And your rewards are granted. Congratulations. All right. Next map's a treasure map. That's going to be an easy, quick one. Then we go straight to the boss. Easy peasy. So get in there while you can, guys. Get it up quick. And for some of you who might be a little annoyed about the stream raiders aspect of tonight, well, it's the focus of tonight's stream. We're doing the show match to get us all prepped and ready. I can also feel not so guilty about not doing StarCraft tonight. But after this, we're going to be focused on PvP. And 100% just being transparent. We're doing this show match to farm up viewers so that we can kick some ass and hopefully dominate all the PvP matches tonight. At least that's the goal. Whether we achieve that goal or not, it's up to you guys. Widowmine's coming up here to make sure that things are really solidified. Oh, I don't know. Well, that was a kick in the nuts. But he's up 88 supply, so Future, if he finds a way to lose from this, that'll be interesting. Family Connects were on point, though. They were juicy. They were plump. They were delicious. I'm talking about Bailings, right? Okay. I think the Thors are the biggest problem here. Even if hypothetically you took out every Widowmine and Marine, I don't actually know if you can deal with the Thors. You know what I'm gonna have to do though, right? Future wins this game. Let's hope he does. If Future wins this game, we go to game 5. I'm gonna turn the applause button on for game 5. Bustin' makes me feel good. Yeah, too much on too many fronts. I tell you guys, I was really worried this was going to be a 3-0 smash for BLY. Future maybe would have eaten his words, feeling a little cocky at the start of this, but nope, here we are. Future takes game 4, and that's going to set us up very nicely for the 5th and final game. Give me some noise, guys. I want to introduce these players in the greatest fashion possible because it is game number 5. We've got to the ace match in this series. Oh, that picked up quick to the top. Right, going for this pool of gas. Sitting on 12 workers. We're going to bring it home, ladies and gentlemen. It's BLY. And his opponent, the North American. Make some noise if you love this kid. He's the Blue Terran, Future. Yeah. And stop. Okay, we'll bring the applause back bot on after it's cooled down here for a second. But BLY has put out a very early pool, but he's also gone for a pretty early gas, which tells me this might be a little bit more scary than just his typical early Zerglings that we've seen in games so far. Future's certainly going to have to be on watch for this. But Future's been pretty consistent with scouting. He's been pretty good with Reapers. The only thing that's been catching him off guard is while the Reapers across the map, BLY gets in here and causes a lot of chaos. So hopefully this Reaper might even just be left at home. He's sending an SCV out. I like this. If the SCV is for scouting and he uses the SCV to check for roaches and the Reaper's left at home, then he won't have to deal with the chaos around his command center that he's had to deal with in more games than I think he would have liked to in this series. Okay, bot's back on. Use at your discretion, guys. I'm not going to interfere with it. So he's going to get across here. He's not going to get to see the lack of a natural base. Well, actually, there's a natural base down, so I take that back. But he's still not going to get the scouting with the SCV that he wanted. So he sends the Reaper out for fear that there's roaches coming, but he needs to leave this at home because here comes the Zerglings. Man, y'all went from 0 to 60 real fast with that. Cancels the command center, like this move, puts it up on the high ground. He's realized this isn't just 6 slings. This is kind of committed. So rather than dick around and waste time, which he might not even get to finish the command center for, oh, he pulled a risky move just now. He builds the CC on the high ground. I like this a lot. Bunker's coming down too to be ultra safe, although I don't think the bunker is at all necessary. Luckily for Terran, a bunker is also not an overreaction, as this thing can obviously be salvaged out. Is continuing to poke out here and check to see what exactly is on deck. I think his fear is that he'll pop out and see a couple Ravager eggs on the way, but for BLY, it's not about Ravagers. He's actually using this pressure he's created to distract and control while he back at home drones up. Why are these sounds ruining the commentary and gameplay? Because they're fun, dog. You'll notice for 4 games out of 5 we didn't have them on. You're gonna complain about the one? I think we found the no fun allowed police, guys. Shame on you, sir. Yes. Yes, yes. Thank you for the applause. All right, Reaper is getting the scout he wanted off earlier now. There's not a lot to really see. I think he realizes that this wasn't that committed at a BLY at this point. And the Reaper's probably gonna die. That didn't sound... I know, the little claps definitely don't sound like applause. The little claps sound like some dude's alone in another room trying to find a way to stay entertained. Oh no, the depots are down. He's got a bunker, but can't he even get to it? Oh no, the hubris! Dangerous hubris! He's gonna pull the SCVs because he has to, but frankly, this isn't preferable at all. There's a Banshee on the way, but if he had just left the depot up, this would have been fine. BLY gets in here, causes way too much chaos, and even the 2 Hellions are spawning. The amount of lost mining right now is pretty devastating, considering Future's still not on his natural base. Drops a couple of mules before lifting, but the Lings come back in. Oh, no, wait. Grabbing 1, no, 2. Gets the SCV. Nice. This went from being something where Future had total control of the situation to pushing out a little bit, overextending just barely, and getting punished so severely for it. I mean, this isn't about, oh, BLY suddenly mined a bunch more minerals. It's that Future stopped mining a bunch of minerals while this went on. BLY just got a huge spike for it. But like I said, command center was done well in time that he had an energy to drop a mule. So he loses a little bit with the command center, but he actually has a mule mining, so it helps keep the economy close to even. Oops, excuse me. After that brief spike, it will go back up in BLY's favor because he's up almost 10 workers, but the mules will keep him afloat. Banshee can pick off like maybe 3 or 4, make it a lot more easy, but BLY's not leaving many openings, and he's being very active with the queens. Well handled, well controlled so far. Oh, hey, Zeph. What up, girl? Nice to see you. I'm going to pretend those applauses are for you. Sport Caller sets up the 3rd base. I guess the Banshees are certainly going to be a problem. I think one of the best things they can do going forward would just simply be, like, clean up creep tumors. 2 of them can one-shot drones, but I think wrapping them around the mineral lines, you have to get a lot of drones for the risk this is going to create, because the queens have been on top of this all game so far. Uh-oh. Yeah, a little bit hard to catch this. BLY's Sport Caller is doing a great job providing the vision for the queens to almost snipe the Banshee. Overlord of the main base gets picked off. This is a lot of peace of mind because even though Nidus Swarms are not necessarily on the table right now, Nidus Swarms have already been present in this best of 5. So getting rid of the Overlords creates a lot of peace of mind, not having to worry about a Nidus Worm popping up in the main base and needing to deal with that over and over and over again, especially because it's BLY, so we'll add like an over again on top of the others. Is that gonna kill it? That's gonna kill it. Why? Oh no! That was so awkward from both. That was like a game of canceled chicken. I've never seen that so awkwardly handled before, but it works. Gets the cancel, flies away elsewhere. I'm not sure why we're air horning. Oh, because the hatchery cancel. All right, nice, nice, nice. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna take the pog champs back down to 5 per person, guys. All right, continues to harass a little bit on the front line. The cloaked Banshee obviously can't be dealt with super easily, but the other one's super low. I kind of really wish Future would actually bring these home. They're doing a really good job providing presence on the other side of the map, but having these at full health and full capacity to continue doing this for the rest of the game, I think would be really awesome. Regardless, I love that split. Oh, you know he just microed that, right? Who in their right mind gushes over creep tumor micro? I do, because that was sick. This is like it's such a nothing move that is next level, I guess. It looks nice to see. It's aesthetically pleasing as hell. Now walls up. There's no openings for this one. Siege tanks are on the way. This is gonna be so necessary because the banelings are cooking right up front, but those banelings from BLY might be better off back at home. Oh god, the push out of Future might be borderline unstoppable here. BLY has got, you know, a bunch of workers. That was his advantage in this game, econ, but in doing so has left himself vulnerable to this attack, lack of early game units to fight with. We've seen this present in a lot of his games so far, and maybe this is why Future feels confident about the macro games, because he knows that BLY, he gets a little carried away by his greed. Regardless of that, he is on creep. Banelings don't have speed for another 10-ish seconds. Not good. Siege tanks focus the Banelings. Marines hold the ground against the... Oh! Falls back off the creep. Loses the siege tanks, but he's got an easy control with the Marines. This hatchery almost certainly gonna die here. Future started this series off 0-2 and now has brought this back to a 3-game win streak. perhaps moments away from locking down this game. There's a couple of Banelings morphing at the top of the ramp, but even if they finish, he's got the micro. He focuses most of them down. A small handful of Marines die in the front lines, but more than enough push through. +1 weapons against +1 armor nullifies the upgrades, but the numbers are still there. 52 army supply. The drones are pulled. This is it. The tank siege up the Queen's Health push. The Marines are so stimmed at this point, but these medevacs are keeping these boys alive. 22 drones remain. Blind loses 35. I think this is the end. A few scarce Banelings remain, 5 to be precise. Oh, this is so good for future. I don't know how BLY breaks this. He's got another base, but it's on the way. Not building this base, not building anything either. Stuck here with almost no economy to work with whatsoever. The crowd goes wild because that's the end of the series. GG! Give it up for future, ladies and gentlemen. He takes the Showmatch 3-2. What a sick turnaround!